What's up guys, Luke here with Luke's Points and Miles, and today is once again time for me to answer your questions about credit cards, points, miles, and travel. I don't want to waste any time, so grab a cold drink, strap in, and let's get it. So I want to wish you happy Labor Day, and I want to get right to the questions. First up is a big time contributor to the channel, Jimmy James. Do you have a limit on the amount of annual fees you're willing to pay? Well, Jimmy, my short answer is no. If the annual fee makes sense for me and helps me accomplish the mission, I'm okay paying it. Now, I will say that every time an annual fee hits, I do evaluate it. I also say this: if I'm in a situation where my annual fees are getting to be higher than I like, that scrutiny will be even greater. Remember, part of my motivation for traveling is to help develop and to bond with my son and to maintain a happy marriage. I have strong motivators, so the annual fees for me are just the price of doing business. Next question is from Dustin. I created my Amex quadfecta using the Platinum, Gold, Hilton Surpass, and the Hilton Aspire. Do you think that is a good setup as long as I focus on Hilton loyalty? Dustin, I have and use all four of those cards. I think it's a great setup. I think all four of those cards are well worth their annual fees, and I think they can bring you a ton of enjoyment. I would, though, add a good no foreign transaction fee Visa or MasterCard to use when you travel overseas or to another country. Next up is Spencer Johnson. Guys, if you have not checked out Spencer's channel, do yourself a favor and take a look at it right after you finish my video. He's one of those up-and-coming whiz kids in the credit card and finance space. I think you guys will like him. Spencer asked, first, what made you get started making YouTube videos? Second, how has YouTube changed your life? Third, what are your future goals? Wow, some really good questions, Spencer, and I really do appreciate that. First off, I got into making YouTube videos because I thought it would be a super cool challenge. See, I'm the kind of guy that started watching MMA 20 years ago, and I had to go compete in grappling matches and eventually go fight in a cage. When I get into something, I really dive in. I love learning and getting better at different things. I've also done some speaking and instruction type work before, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to develop a new hobby that had the possibility to bring in at least a little bit of money. I don't know if YouTube has changed my life all that much. I think the best thing is that my son sees how much I work at it, and he sees the benefits our family enjoys from being in the credit card and travel space. Another thing I think that has been a benefit is that when YouTube becomes somewhat of a business, you really have to start learning that business. From sponsorship contracts to the branding of the channel, it's changed how I see business in general, and it's helped me not only with my property management and real estate business, but how I run my family finances as well. I'm much better off from diving into this stuff. My future goals for the channel? Well, I have certain metrics I want to hit, like subscribers and revenue, but at the expense of sounding really corny, I just want to help people use their financial responsibility to their advantage. When someone comes up to me and says something as minimal as, hey, I took my kids to the beach for the first time, we paid for the hotel with points, that makes it a really fun hobby or business. I know how much that means for a mom or dad to be able to do that. Or even less corny example is, hey, I flew first class to Tokyo like a big leaguer. That's awesome. Life is about learning and experiencing things. If I can help someone do that, then that can be pretty awesome. Rupesh asked, strategies for closing or downgrading cards and reapplying for bonuses. How often can you do that, and for which banks? That's a great idea for a full video. Off the top of my head, I know a lot of different rules for those sorts of things, such as Amex is generally a 1 bonus per card per lifetime. Chase, you can get a sapphire bonus every 48 months. So I think maybe you'll see a video about that in the future, but it could be too long of an answer for today, but I definitely appreciate the question. Michael Ortega, or should I call you Boats? Shout out to all the veterans watching this. I love you guys and gals. Boats wants to know which card I would prefer for traveling, American Express Delta Platinum or the American Express Delta Reserve. I will say this, neither. I don't think airline cards are going to be worth it for most of us after the first year. I would get the American Express Platinum card if you wanted a big time travel card with lounge access. If you have a strong relationship with Delta and you really need an airline card and status would greatly benefit you, and you like to fly first class, then maybe the Reserve. Otherwise, MR point earning American Express cards will likely perform much better for 99% of us. Watch my video on the transfer partners and you may get a better idea of the power and versatility of those transferable points. Go Navy, thank you for your service. Dr. Dark PK. Okay, Doc is 17 years old and he is heavily into the personal finance and credit card game, and he wants to know how he should deal with others that are older but have a much more limited knowledge of these things. Well, Doc, here's the deal. 98% of people here on planet Earth will not ever want to talk about money. I wouldn't push the issue with them. I would converse with folks using the internet to find like-minded people, social media groups, YouTube, things like that. Also, I will say this, there is a subtle issue with credibility when it comes to finances and giving folks advice. Unless you are building an impressive net worth, most people are less than likely to value your opinion on finance in general. I would learn as much as you can, and when you start putting it all together, building your wealth, you will not have a hard time finding people to mentor or to discuss techniques and strategies. When you become that 20-year-old millionaire, you'll have plenty of people wanting to know how you did it. Mojo, might have the coolest name on YouTube, wants to know, with having multiple cards, is it better to process a small transaction each month to get credit for a payment on each billing cycle? How can one really impact the credit history of the credit pie? Mojo, I will give you my initial surface thought. I think you're majoring in the minors. But if you really want or need to build that part of your credit, then yes, I would put some spend on that card, let it report and pay it off before it accrues any type of interest. I'll be honest, I don't do any of that stuff. I pay my cards off every morning while I drink my coffee. I'm old and I have a thick credit profile, so maybe that's why I don't pay attention to that. However, I'm glad you're paying attention to the details, and yes, I would stick with that to make sure that you're getting that payment history going strong. Angelo Salazar wants to know if I think Citi is coming out with a travel card. Angelo, I really do think they are, and I think it could be very interesting. The changes Citi has made, like making all those cards earn thank you points, makes this a great opportunity for us as far as choices in the game. I look for a card to be right in that sweet spot between the US Bank Altitude Reserve and the Capital One Venture X, right around that $400 mark. I also think that any of those folks that still have the Citi Prestige have a great option. That card was super for folks that could take advantage of transfer partners. William Pinkett wants to know my thoughts on the IHG business card from Chase. 140,000 points sounds pretty good. I'll be really honest. IHG probably ranks down the list for me for properties I would like to show loyalty to. Not for any particular reason. I think their properties are fine, but I think Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt have a substantial leg up for most people. But on the other side of the coin, hotel cards seem to generally always be valuable. I'd keep it as an option, especially because it's a business card and it carries those business card advantages. Angelo has a bonus question about the Hilton Surpass card. He just got an offer for it for no annual fee the first year and 130,000 points. Is it worth it? I'll give you my short answer. Hilton cards are always worth it. The bonuses change and some are better. The bonus I got a few months ago was 130,000 bonus points and a $130 Hilton credit. I jumped on it. I think it's a great card for a lot of people, and I'll also add that I'm not one to sit on the sidelines and wait for a particular bonus. I prefer a fairly aggressive velocity, and I like to get my bonuses now. Loud Hemi wants to know if I will ever get under Chase 524. I have to admit I have made some serious mistakes regarding my gardening and getting under 524, but I do plan on getting there. And I want to get the Chase Business Inc. trifecta one day. I should be under 524 in June 2023. My only issue is there really aren't any business cards I want right now, and I'm afraid there will be some super great personal cards in the near future. EW gives me a great question. If I could only have 3 cards, which ones would they be and why? I'm going to answer this question without a bunch of time to complicate it, because the longer it goes, the more I'll change my answer. But I am going with the American Express Platinum Card, the American Express Gold Card, and the Capital One Venture X. The Platinum gives me all my protections, lounge access, unreal benefits, and basically pays for itself. I need my Platinum Card. The Gold helps me rack up Amex MR points on my two biggest expenses in groceries and dining. That will be my workhorse. And the Capital One Venture X will be my everything else card, plus it could be my hotel and car rental card. Great transfer partners and a neutral annual fee makes it a no-brainer. I don't necessarily need a cashback card right now, so that's my 3-card setup. Put in the comments, what is your 3-card setup if you can only have 3? Bill Irvin, as a young married 20-something who travels a few times a year on a budget, how do you value the IHG program? Do you think there is a better budget hotel collection? Cleanliness and safety are big factors. I think the IHG program is great if that's where you like to stay. However, I put their program and their properties below Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt. I think the most valuable card for a budget-minded person is the no annual fee Hilton Honors card, closely followed by the Chase no annual fee Marriott card. IHG falls below those, but above Choice Privileges, Wyndham, and all the others. I don't think it's a bad choice. I just think there are better programs and better properties. So there you have it, folks, our 5th edition of the Q&A series. I'm sorry if I missed any questions. I will try to fit them in at some time. If you have time, check out my links in the description. And remember, if you've stayed around all the way to the end, I appreciate you and I thank you.